Hey guys, this is another Vision Graphics Adobe Illustrator tutorial. Last time we were going over some of the simple tools in Adobe Illustrator, and I just want to do a little recap here before we go any farther today. Right here you have the regular selection tool, so just like your mouse, and you hit V to open that up. And then, or you can just click the icon. And then we have our direct selection tool, and you can hit A to open that up. And what this tool does, it selects individual points on a shape. So if you have a square, you can select the top left corner or right corner or whatever. So it gives you access to all the different points, unlike the mouse, which you hit V, unlike the mouse, which just gives you control over the entire shape at once. Okay, so and then also we talked about the pen tool, which creates shapes. So you just drop pins and you can make a shape or whatever, and we talked about that. And then we talked about all the other tools under the pen. We had add anchor tool, delete anchor tool, anchor point tool, and these all work together when you are creating shapes. And then we talked about just your regular shape tool, rectangle tool, and then under that you have your rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse tool, polygon tool, which makes all kinds of different shapes. You can select any amount of sides you want it to have or points, and then you have star tool, flare tool. So there's all those different tools for shapes. But today we are going to delve in a little deeper. Last time we ended on the text tool. So you can probably guess what the text tool does. It writes. Okay, so this is my name that I just typed with the text tool. Wow, so complicated. No, but the thing about these kind of programs is the reason they're so special is because you have so much access to individual parts and pieces. This is what separates Adobe Illustrator from online logo designing tools. And so, like, on a regular website, I would have a text tool. I'd be able to make it bigger or smaller, maybe even split up the text a little bit in different widths and everything. And then I'd have a select few fonts, and that would be about all I could do. But on here, not only can I make text, but I have an unlimited amount of fonts. I can go purchase fonts. I can make it small. I can make it big. I can make the first letter big and everything else small. I can make them all caps. Well, you could do that on another website. But then on here, I can even completely undo the format. Like, it no longer has to be text, and I can make it to where it's just shapes, and that is what's so cool about Adobe Illustrator. So let's jump in here. So this video is really going to be covering the text tool. So anything you need to know about the text tool, we are going to do our best to cover it in here. So starting out with how to begin. So there are many different types of text layouts. So, and you know from college, if you've gone to college, if you've done any high school, you know all the things I'm talking about. So you have paragraphs, you have headers, you have titles, you have all these different types of text boxes. Now, with this tool, I can just tap it, and then I can do whatever I want. I can make a text box, and then now I can fit a paragraph inside this box. So I can start typing. Matthew is a weird kid that sounds like a 14-year-old when he talks, even though he is 18. Okay, so I have that weird sentence right there. Now I can, to edit this sentence, you have selected your text, and so now all the tools on your right side have opened up for you to be able to edit this text. These are some of the limited tools that we have. Okay, I've got to fix my window really quick. It's really wide. I'm going to shrink this down a smidge. Okay, is that better? That is better. Okay, so it shows me transform a line, paragraph, font size, shows me the different types of font options within that one font, and then it shows me the font itself. And then you see this button here called character panel. So we're going to select this. This is what gives us all of our options to be able to mess with this text. So what do we have here? We have our font, we have the different types of font, we have font size, And then we have all these other things. Now, what do these things do? Okay, so let's just start from the top and work our way to the bottom. Just get a feel for it. So let's go back. Now let's stick with that. So we have our text box. So what do we have first? We have our font. Okay, so we have the text box selected. Now, can we change the font with just the text box selected? Let's try. So we go up here and you have Myriad Pro. And so you can search for the font if you know the name, or you can just go through here. So the font I like to use a lot is called Odudo. So I have found it. I have Odudo Light, Odudo, whatever. But I'm just going to select the first one. Okay, so it changed all the text. So when you have the text box selected, it will change whatever text is on the inside when you hit this. So, but I don't want Odudo Light. I want Odudo Bold. So you have all these different selections for your text. Now, depending on what font you have will determine the amount of options that you have here. So I've bought the full Odudo package for $25, and so I'm able to use any of these. So I want Bold Odudo. So now I have Odudo Bold. All right, so let's go back and check some more things out. So now we have changed the font. We have changed the font style. But then what do all these other things do? Okay, so here we have font size. Now you can probably guess what this does. So right now we're at your standard 12-point font, and then when I click up, the font gets bigger. And then when I click down, the font gets smaller. Okay, so that's pretty simple. But then over here, we have something called set the leading. So what does this do? By the look of this, I think we can maybe guess what it does. It separates your line. So it's just like double space or triple space or whatever, except now you have access based upon individual points. So we're able to either make it really, really, really close or really far apart or just normal. So there you go. That's what that tool does. Now, you have the set the kerning between two characters tool. Very long name for a tool. So right now it is on auto. But what will happen when we change it up a little bit? So let's go to optical. All right. Let's go to metrics, Roman only. Okay. So what just happened there? Okay, so back to optical. Okay, metric. All right, so okay, it's telling us something right here. When I try to set the kerning, what happens? Kerning on extended selections can only be set to the auto or 0 to modify between multiple characters. Use the tracking option. So this is something we can only do with one word. So let's go to though. All right, or let's just select the H in though. All right, so we have selected our H. So we go to the kerning tool. Whoops, we hit character. We got to reselect. So we go to our character tool, and we want to set the kerning. So we need to select more than one tool. All right, we need to select more than one. Modify spacing between multiple characters, use the track. Okay, so it's only one that we want? Is that what we want? You know what? That's a learning curve for me. We need to come back to that. Okay, so you're not going to learn. We're learning together. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to go up here again, and we're going to look at our next tool. So here we have tracking. Now, what it has is 2 letters and an arrow. So what this does is it separates your letters. So you have 0, which is just the normal separation. But then watch when I make it negative, the letters start getting really close. Or when I make it really positive, the letters start getting really far apart. So that's what that does. Now, here we have the vertical scale. So what this tool does, it either makes your letters really tall or makes them really short. So they don't get bigger, they get taller or shorter. So we want to make them really, really short. So see, that's what that tool does. It just messes with the height, or it messes with the height of your tool. Okay, and this is the horizontal scale. So it does the opposite. It makes either your letters skinnier or fatter. So we're making them wider and wider and wider and wider, or we're going to make them really skinny. So that's what that tool does. Here we have the set the baseline shift. So this will bring up or down all the letters, but what this is used for a lot is, like on a title page, you will have all the letters will be smaller than the first letter. So let's do this really quick. All right, let's make our M. You have to select your M. To make one letter bigger, you have to select it, and then you just go to the font, and you can make it huge. Okay, see how everything is on the bottom? Now we want it all to connect to the top. So select only that text and leave the M out. And then we're going to go to our baseline shift tool, and it's all going to go up here. See? So, and that's what that does. Okay, so that just moves the baseline of your fonts. All right, so what do we have next? Okay, so under character, we've covered all these. Now for our last one, we have character rotation. So let's see what this does. All right, so when we raise it, our characters move to the left. And then if we go the opposite way, our characters will turn to the right. So most of the time, you're going to want that to be at 0. Now, if you're doing something funky, yeah, make it 1. But or make it 20, I don't care. But most time you're going to make it 0. But that's just for twisting your characters, making them look groovy. Okay. So these tools are pretty simple. This is all caps. So you can probably guess what happens when I hit this. Everything turns capital. So instead of having to go and select everything, you're going to select your box, and you can hit all caps and everything will become capitalized, so you don't have to retype. This will do small caps, so since it was already small, everything's going to become big, and then you hit it again, everything becomes small again. So here we have superscript, which will make everything small. So a superscript is something that goes up to the top, like 4 squared. That squared is a superscript. But then over here we have the subscript, which will bring everything down. So, like 9 to the 10. I think, is that what they say? Like, when you're trying to show a large number very small. So, like, if you want to show 1,000,000, you do 1. You get what you get my point. Okay, I'm not that good at math. Okay, so this is your underline tool. When you select that, everything becomes underlined. So you just select your text box. Look, I don't even have to highlight everything. I just select my text box. I select the font, and I hit underline. Now everything's underlined. This tool right here, strike through. This will put a line through all of your text. This is really cool for if you're grading papers, or if you're showing how to grade papers, you're making a sheet or something like that, or you're just showing you don't want something, stuff like that. So that's cool. And then here we have the anti-aliasing method. Okay, so right now everything is sharp, but we want everything to be strong. So really what this does is it boldens or it shrinks your text. Like, so see what happens. None. So it's kind of junky looking, but then if you make it sharp, everything is very flat. And then we want everything to be very crispy, or we want it to be very strong. So see how it gets bolder? All right, so right now we're just going to keep everything crisp, or just keep it sharp. I don't know, whatever. And then you can probably guess what this is. This is the languages. So let's change it, just for the fun of it, to Hebrew. So we're going to type in Hebrew. Or Latvian. Okay, never mind. I don't know how to do that. That is a tool we will use for another day. I really wonder what that does. You and me are going through a learning thing. I'm liking this. So okay, today, what have we learned how to do? We have learned how to better use all of the text options up here. Character. Okay, and then here we have a couple more options. We want to go over a couple more things. All right, so now we have our normal character tools. So up here, we want to set the way it looks. So we want it to be a poem. So roses are red, violets are red. I'm colorblind. True story. I'm actually colorblind. Okay, all right. First of all, we don't want them to be so close. So recap. Go to character, and then you're going to go here to set the leading, and we're going to make it higher. So now we want this to be like, you know, how you'd have a, uh, a poem. So we want it all to be centered. So you're going to go up here to paragraph. And now look at all this. This is the beauty of Adobe Illustrator. Now we have all these different paragraph options. So this is our normal align left paragraph. But we want everything to be centered. So we have align center. Or you can do align to the right. Or justify with last line aligned left. Or justify with last line aligned center. Or justify with last line aligned to the right. Or justify all lines. Now, right now, we want it to be like this. Okay. So, that's pretty cool. But then, we have other selections here. So, this tool right here, this is the left indentation. So, I want everything to be 5 points indented. Now, usually, you wouldn't do that. You would only indent the first line. So, you hit this here, and the teacher says, I want it indented 5 points. So, there's your indentation. Isn't that awesome? Now, and then here is our indentation on the right, but we have it on the left. So I'll just show you that really quick. So it goes over here, and then you can move it there. All right, sweet. And then here we have space before paragraph. So we're gonna hit that. Now, usually what you need to have is you need to have this selected, okay? And then you're going to do this, I think. All right, so. Okay, see that? See what happened? So what that is, it is the space in between your returns. So 30. So I'm colorblind. Return. See how big that gap is? DJJJJ. Okay. And then if I go back here and subtract, that's going to get closer. So that's just the spacing between your paragraphs. And then here, you can probably guess space after paragraph. So that's just going to be the bottom. That's going to be whatever is on the bottom of your paragraph. So we're going to raise that up. And really, it's that. But it's talking about the bottom of this paragraph instead of the top of this one. And then here, automatically hyphenation. So what is hyphenation? So we go here and we're typing Johnny Apple. See what just happened? So we're typing a whole bunch of words. And then we want it to hyphenate. You know what? I want to show you an example. All right. I like cheese a lot. Okay. I'm trying to think. Hyphenation. Don't hyphenate. I'll come back to that too. I promise I will address this in my next video. Okay, so, and then alignment. We talked about alignment already in our last video. So, we have covered almost everything there is to cover about text. We still have a couple things to do before we are done today. You know what? I'll plug in another video from this video. We will cover these tools in our next video. All right? All right, cool. I'm wanting you, if you will, to go follow Vision Graphics on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I know that's girly. Twitter, but then also hook up with us on YouTube and give us a follow. And then if you also could, please share Vision Graphics stuff on your pages. Give us a like. Tell your friends. and I can't wait till our next video. God bless everyone.